What's up, everybody? Today we're going to show you how to replace this Molex connector and the headlight switch on this 97 F-350. It doesn't really look like there's anything wrong with it, but we're changing out the switch, so we might as well change this out because I'm pretty sure it's never been changed, and it's got about 230,000 miles on it, so we might as well do it. So try to show you how. If you have issues, another thing I want to bring up, this is, by the way, this is the spliced in part for the gauges right here. If you want to know how these come out, I don't know what this stuff is either, to those gunk on here. These clips right here, you know, these have to like pop up over the switch and just kind of pry it out. I could, you know, tell this is just stuck in there. It's probably been in there for 25 years, so, you know, having to pry it out is kind of tough, but it does just pull out. So all right, let's get to it. All right, so this is the new piece, female end. I just went ahead and put butt connectors on everything. I know some people like to solder this, but butt connectors seem to work for everything electrical on cars, so I figured why not. I will admit I am having some concerns over this one right here, because it appears on this new connector that it's like a 10 gauge wire, and on the old one, I'll have to show y'all in a minute, the old one looks like it's probably maybe a 14, so probably gonna try that one first to make sure that it works. We might have to do something a little bit different with it, but the rest, I believe butt connector should work fine. To show you guys what I'm doing these one at a time. You don't want to cut all these wires and then try to splice them all back on, because they're not color coordinated very well, and they're not even gauge coordinated. You're basically just looking at the back, matching it up. Some of the colors are close, but not exact, and same thing with the gauges. So I'm just doing these one at a time. It's really hard to get a good angle of what I'm doing. I'm just getting a pair of crimps and just cutting the wire, and then splicing up to the butt connector one by one. So try to get as good a footage as I can get, but like I said, I'm at a crazy angle and there's not a good way to do this. But I'm also only cutting maybe about 2.5 inches past the end of the connector, so you know, it's maybe like just like this far past the connector. I'm doing that to give myself room for error in case I screw something up. Always give yourself room for error when you're doing stuff like this, guys. Alright, there we go. There's one. Man, there's not a lot of slack here, but there's one pulled off. Let's see if we can get it connected. Okay, so pretty shortly into this, and I've already realized I am going to have to do some soldering. You can see this right here. These two wires coming out of one slot right here. This thin brown wire and this thicker brown wire. If you look at the new one, this is just one brown wire. That's it. So I got a little 14 gauge butt connector on there. That is not going to work. So I'm going to have to cut this butt connector off and solder it on there. Okay, so these are the ones I was actually able to get with a butt connector. As you can see, that one's kind of frayed. Anyway, yeah, these are the two I told you. They both come out of one little slot here. That's this brown one right here. So this one's I'm gonna have to splice. This is that 10 gauge. This did not work out with a butt connector, mainly because this is a 10. Right here, this is a 10, and the one it corresponds into is this one, which is like 14. So I don't have any 10 to 14 butt connectors, so couldn't do it. Man, this camera, just what are you focusing on? I can't ever tell with this thing. focuses on the most arbitrary stuff. Anyway, so yeah, so most of them, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them connected up. This right here, this is the actual headlight wire. This is what we got the gauges spliced into. So I'm gonna have to pull this off. I don't really want to cut it because I don't want to lose that much wire. I might have to, but yeah, I'm gonna try to get this off, and then I got new ones I'm gonna put into this one. We're gonna have to cut this butt connector off because this is gonna have to probably be spliced too, because this is a 14 and this is a 16, and these connectors are 22 to 16, so I can't fit a 14 in there. But I might be able to get a different butt connector. I might have one somewhere, so stay tuned. Okay, so another little tidbit of advice. You should probably, if you're gonna do butt connectors, start it with the wire coming from the harness in the truck, because if you do what I did, which is connect the butt connector to the new Molex, it's a lot harder to crimp on the harness side than it is on the Molex side. So go ahead and don't do what I did and crimp off the ones from the truck first, and then do the ones on your new Molex. And yeah, so we've gotten down to everything except, so these are the two that I'm going to solder. Remember, these two right here are one. They came out of one slot. They get soldered into here, into this one, and then this one, this weird 10 gauge one, is going to have to get soldered into this one. So those are the two I'm going to solder. The rest I was able to use butt connectors for all. Those blue butt connectors are the 14 and 16 gauge, and these are the one from the Molex is 16, from the harness is 14. Same thing with this one. Actually, both the Molex and the harness are both 14. So this is the 14 and 16 butt connector, and these are 22 through 16. So they were able to get all the 16s pretty good. So that's it so far. Let's keep on going. Alright, so let me show you guys something real quick. I've put this is the new switch right here. Okay, when you get the new switch, it does not come with this piece right here. You have to use your factory plate that attaches to it. This nut right here is a 16 millimeter nut. This is where that headlight switch, the rod actually goes right into here. I have it kind of hand tight right now, but what I'm showing you is when you put it on, make sure, because you have to orient this the right way. So what I'm showing you is make sure that this little whatever you want to call that, little nipple, goes through this hole, and then it has this notch cut out where this one sits right on top right there. And that's the way that's supposed to be oriented. It's a little bit off, but kind of its own way of locking in. Now it's running under that wire. There it goes. So that's the way that's supposed to be. Okay, everybody, so this here is your final results after everything's all spliced in. There's the original cable for the gauges. Got the switch all connected up. Focus is not working again. Dude, I hate the focus on this thing. There's an airplane somewhere on there, somewhere. Where is it? I can hear it. Hey, it's Mike, CEO, creator, founder of Immertech Electrical. Everyone, stop by. He does that from time to time. He actually senses when electrical work is being done, and he just appears
every time.
Every time. It's weird. He just pops up. Alright, so yeah, so Molex connected to the switch, new switch. This is the original, I don't know what you call it, headlight switch, rod, doohickey thingamabobber. Got that connected in, and then we're gonna route it back in. So we'll see y'all in a minute. Okay, so I forgot to mention, if you want to pull this rod out right here, the headlight switch, I'll show you with the old one. This is the old one here. This spring, this little thing you press right here, you press that and then you can pull it out. Didn't show you when I was doing it because I forgot to. And then once you pull it out, this nut right here, I believe this is a 16 millimeter. You just take that off, and then you replace this factory plate. They don't give you a new one when you get the switch. And yeah, that's how you put that back on. So you just take the plate off, you take the headlight switch out, this little rod, then you take the nut off, then you put it on the new switch, and that's it. So there you go. Alright, so let me show you guys the back of this bezel right here. Ours was already messed up, but yeah, pulling it out, we did break a couple of clips. I could tell it had never been pulled out before, and this truck's really old and brittle. So your wait to start sensor here, you got 2 screws on the inside. Those are going to have to be removed before you can. This is kind of retroactively here. I'm showing you guys the beginning at the very end. If you pull this out, remember you have to take these screws out. And the same thing over here, that's where your fuel selector switch is. You're gonna have to, sorry for the airplane again, I live right by the airport. There's 2 screws. There'll be one, where's my finger? Right here and right here. Those 2 screws have to come out before you can pull it out. Then you have the clips, clip 1, clip 2, clip 3. So that's where it's clipped in, up here. So you can pop those clips out, pull it back a little bit, and then you're going to want to reach back there and take these screws out or disconnect the sensor, whichever is easier. Sometimes disconnecting the sensor is not super easy when you have like 2 inches, and sometimes pulling out a screw is. It just depends on whatever your situation is, what tools you have. So anyway, we're going to be putting that back together. I'm probably going to put this in drive. If you have an automatic, this is an automatic. So I'm probably going to put it in drive, give me a little bit of room, drop the steering column down as far as I can to give myself some room. Remember that when you're moving, you have this little pliable piece of rubber right here, so you can maneuver it a little bit, but you don't have a whole lot of room. So let's get to it. Okay, so here's another little tip for you guys. So obviously, it's the smarter thing to do is just screw these in. What are you doing, focus? Anyway, to just screw these in and then connect the sensor after the fact. Like I said, you might have some stubborn sensor, you don't want to break it, but you might be able to get a little screwdriver behind there and just pop that out. So maybe you did that. But if you pulled the sensor, I lost one of these sensor screws, or one of these screws that, you know, mount this thing. So this right here, BroncoGraveyard.com, interior trim screws right here. I ordered these. Now these were actually too long, but the threads were perfect for this. So I just got a pair of snips and I just cut it, and you can see there's the other half of it right there. So I just cut it short, and yeah, it's perfect. So it is perfectly tight in there. So there's a little tip for you guys if you accidentally lose one of these screws. Not all hope is lost. Alright, I know this isn't part of the switch part, but once you get out of the original headlight switch knob, once you get that put back on, remember you got these 2 bolts here. Those are 7 millimeter, and part of the reason I'm kind of showing this off, this is a brand new bezel we got here, so it does look kind of nice. Probably show it once I get it all back on there, but yeah, you got these 2 bolts, that's it, and then you got the trim panels that go here, and of course we hadn't put our kick panel back on. We'll probably do that later for another video. We got to get back to this gauge video. I'm actually filming that too. So alright guys, I'll be back. And alright guys, that's pretty much it. We tested everything. Everything's good. Lights come on, dimmer works, everything. So it's all gravy. That's another one, guys. And thanks for watching. If you like, we're going to do a lot more on this. Probably going to do electronic fuel system on this thing, and probably a whole bunch of other stuff. We've still got to finish these gauges. That's for another video, because it's like in progress, because the turbo, I'm having issues getting good reading on that turbo gauge. I don't believe that I'm getting a reading, or that it is what it says it is, so that's why I hadn't finished it. I've started that video though already. But yeah, that's it for now. So till next time, guys.